Hey, Georgia girl. Hey, girl, look. it just cooled off. It just cooled off. It is hot out here. It's hot. Well, it was. It feels good now. I don't know if you can hear that breeze, but it's a slight breeze now. I have to walk at nighttime. Early in the morning is good, but you got to get up real early because once that, about 6:45, about 7 o'clock, when that sun starts to come up, if you get caught out there, it's like you might as well wait till walk any other time of the day because that sun is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Hey guys, this live will be short. It'll be short because I wait later and later to walk because the later it is, the cooler it is. Look at that cactus. That cactus is flourishing. That cactus is flourishing. It's just right for a cactus plant. The cactuses or the cacti around here is just right for that season. Pop that cactus open. Yes, it has cooled down. I waited. This is about the time I've been going lately. Since it's so hot, I work out in the mornings, but I work out inside before I go to work. So when it's hot like this in the summertime, I always wait till like late in the evening. That's why I end up walking and it's dark sometimes. I end up walking and it gets late and it's late in the evening, but it feels so much better. It feels better than in the mornings. Like early mornings, late evenings are best, but to me, the evenings, that's just the best time. That's overall the best time to walk or run or jog. However people exercise outside. If you're gonna do it, that's the best time for me. But I like to go ahead and get it out of the way before they go to work. Or, just to get their day started. They feel better when they walk or work out in the mornings. So, if you guys catch the replay, if you don't drop down or if you don't catch the live, I'm asking you guys, what do you do? Because I've been hearing a lot of people, even though it's summertime, I still hear people complaining about mucus. Like, we're not going to get gross with it, but y'all know what mucus is, okay? If you've had a cold, sinus problems, any type of nasal issues that'll cause congestion or chest congestion, you know what mucus is. And sometimes, we create mucus all day. We create mucus all day. A lot of people probably cringe when you say that, but we do. Okay, y'all, I had to see who that was. But we create mucus all day. And believe it or not, it goes down the back of your throat, okay? It goes down the back of your throat. So I just want to know, for those who do have, like, excess mucus. Because sometimes I've heard doctors and nurse practitioners say that as people get older, some people start to have an issue with mucus. Or not really even an issue, but they notice an increase in it. So have you guys, if no matter what age you are, you can have a problem with this, especially if you have sinus issues or, certain types of nasal issues. If you have, of course, the common cold, certain viruses during that time of the year, and then, during any time of the year. Some of these viruses they don't discriminate when it comes to what time of the year that they affect people. Some viruses can affect anybody year round. A cold, you can catch a cold year round. You can catch a cold year round. So, there's this big debate. Some people say cold doesn't cause a cold. it's the virus that causes the cold. Of course, it's the virus that causes the cold, but during winter, the winter season, during the cold days, many people's immune system kind of drops a little bit. So that makes it easier to catch a cold, to catch a virus. I do believe in that. But there are times when you haven't been out of your house, besides going maybe from your home to your car over the path and coming in contact with a lot of people. But you may get out of a hot car. It's like, for some reason, it's really hot. You may be exercising at the park, and then you jump in your car and you light that AC up. Guess what? And your immune system, as far as you know, is fine, and you still catch a cold. So I do still believe it can happen both ways. I do still believe it can happen both ways. You don't wrap up for nothing in the wintertime. You don't wrap up for nothing in the wintertime. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for not going outside with short sleeves and stuff like that in the winter. Because you are more likely to catch a cold during the winter months. A summer cold is horrible, okay? A summer cold is horrible. A summer cold is horrible. But, sometimes it's what causes people to have excess or an increase in mucus is they have sinus issues. They have allergies, during the spring months, summer months for some people. Some people have year-round allergies, So those things can increase your mucus level as well. So if you come across this replay, or if you come across the live and I'm still live, what do you do to help to decrease your mucus? Because believe it or not, that is a problem for some people. It's a headache. It's a headache. Most people will tell you if they do have like sinus problems, they're sneezing, some congestion because that post-nasal drip starts to come down the back of your throat, gets into your chest. So what remedies do you use for your when you have an excess of mucus? And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be just the winter time. It can be any season. Okay, winter, spring, summer, or fall, where you will get an increase. Some people, not all, a lot of people though, have an increase in mucus. How do you loosen up the mucus in your chest? How do you loosen up your nasal mucus? How do you loosen that up and get it out? How do you deal with it? How do you treat it? Hey, retirement days come for food some more. I didn't see you. See, y'all, this YouTube is so funny. Like, I have it on top chats right now, right? Well, I always try to keep it on all messages. Let me see. I try to keep it on all messages so that I will hopefully see all messages. But sometimes I have to hit top in order to see a message. Like, I didn't know Betty was in here until I switched it from all to top. That's crazy. I mean, I know it's not a lot of people in the chat. People want to see who's commenting. So I wish that they would just let all the, messages come through. Especially since you can put it on slow mode and slow it down if your chat gets fast or you start to get a lot of messages. I wish they would just let it go through, because I didn't know that. Thank you, Georgia girl, for saying hello to Betty, because I didn't know she was in there. So what do you guys do, to loosen up that phlegm, that mucus, when you have a cold, when you suffer from allergies, symptoms, when you have any other respiratory virus or situation going on, when you have, sometimes you just have it. You don't really have anything going on. Like I said, some healthcare providers will tell you that as people age, they start to have an increase in mucus. So I don't know if you guys, in case you catch the replay, I'm going to tell you some things you can do to help, alleviate some of it. First of all, you can cut down on some of the sugary foods, okay? Cut down on some sugary foods. Cut down on alcohol if you intake alcohol. Um, if you don't take in much anyway, then you're probably fine in that area. But look at what you do take in and maybe decreasing that, especially if you take it in regularly. Okay, cutting down on caffeine. Okay, most things with caffeine have what sugar as well. So just cutting down on the caffeine, the sugary foods can kind of help with that mucus. All right. Hopefully you won't produce so much. And if you do, you're having an issue. There are things like the neti pot. Okay. And of course we drop nuggets over here. Right? Okay, we got traffic, y'all, so we march. We keep going. We stop, but we keep going. We stop, but we keep going. Right? Let's go. So there are things like the neti pot. If you talk about things over the counter, listen to the cicadas, y'all. You can use like a neti pot. Be sure to read the instructions, okay? Do not use regular tap water, okay? All right, get you some distilled water from the store, all right? Or boil your water. Preferably get distilled water from the store. It doesn't cost that much, okay? And you just use the pack and the water, and you lean over the sink, all right? And then you use that neti pot. Follow the directions, follow the instructions. You have to continuously breathe through your mouth. Hold your head down and over to one side. Insert that neti pot, okay? The tip of it, and squeeze, okay? But keep breathing through your mouth. Okay, that can kind of help clear those nasal passages. So that's one way you can help. That can help you with that mucus. All right? Of course, you can buy over-the-counter products, the antihistamines, right? But be mindful of what you buy and make sure that what you're buying is in line with what you really need, okay? Because you can have those antihistamines such as Allegra, Claritin, and things like that. So they help a lot. They don't really dry it up, but what they do is they block the histamines. They block the histamines, okay? So therefore they're called antihistamines. Histamines produce that mucus. So when you take antihistamines, hold on, y'all. Okay, he blasted all of a sudden. He just got loud. So, okay. So the antihistamines, use those. You can use those, especially during allergy season. When you have a cold as well, but those antihistamines are really, really good for those who have allergy problems or, allergy symptoms. Like I said, they can be spring, they can be summer, they can be fall, they can be year round. Some people have them year round. So the antihistamines are good for that. Flonase is now over the counter, okay? And it's a steroidal, okay? Helps with the inflammation, which helps with not producing so much mucus, okay? You can have the expectorants like Mucinex, all right? So if you have that chest congestion, the Flonase and all those things like that, it helps with that postnasal drip as well. So what do? Those are some of the over-the-counter options that you have. And remember, y'all, this is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Informational, entertainment, educational purposes only. We do not professionally, medically, or clinically assess, diagnose, treat, or evaluate anybody. We just drop nuggets over here. Okay, we drop nuggets over here in Lounge Pride. And we drop those nuggets so that you can pick them up, all right, and see which one can develop into a diamond for you. See which one can develop into a diamond for you. Hopefully the nuggets that you pick up, you can take them, study them, take them, talk with your doctor, your nurse practitioner, your physician's assistant, if you've had injuries even, whatever we're talking about over here. You may be seeing a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, okay? Any type of specialty doctor, neurologist, there are all types of specialty doctors. And you want to make sure that your healthcare team are on the same page. So make sure that you keep the lines of communication open between your primary healthcare doctor, okay? Primary healthcare doctor and your specialty doctor and your therapist, okay? Your fitness trainer, your fitness coach, your personal trainer, whoever it is, they're all of those people make up your healthcare team. And they all need to be on the same page as it relates to your health, okay? Let's see. Is that Liben? Hi, Liben. Am I saying your name right? Liben or Liben? I think Liben. Is that Liben? Liben Elmi. Thank you for coming in and saying yes. Welcome into the chat. So you want to make sure that if you're suffering from allergies, there are so many allergens at different times of the year. Make sure that whatever medicine you get is going to be helpful for the issue that you have, okay? Mucinex, you have the regular Mucinex, you have the Mucinex DM. I think it's Mucinex D and DM. I know it's Mucinex D and regular Mucinex, okay? So always consult your primary healthcare provider because you may be taking medications and you may not be able to mix those together, okay? So if you're generally healthy, you're probably okay. But even if you're completely healthy, talk with your primary care doctor so that they can kind of maybe figure out what might work best for you. But if you're generally healthy, you're not on medications, you can kind of figure that out by purchasing different products and seeing which ones work for you. Doing the research, as we always talk about over here, doing the research, paying attention to your body, listen to what your body tells you. Remember, I always say listen to what your body tells you. And then you go from there. So just remember, listen to what your body tells you. Use all 5 of your senses. Of course, we have more than 5, okay? We have 5 is the minimum, okay? All right? 5 is the minimum. 5 is the minimum. So listen to your body. Listen to your senses. Listen to your tingly spidey senses. Listen, use your discernment. Pay attention to your discernment. Pay attention to your intuition. Okay? We talk about that with everything in life. Even when your body is talking to you. Pay attention. All right? So at home, if you don't really want to use anything as far as medicine goes, what are some things that you do at home to help control your mucus? You can use, of course, well, that's over-the-counter, the Neti Pie. I said that. That's kind of like it's an over-the-counter remedy, but you don't really have to take it. So, you just use it as a procedure. So other than over-the-counter and other than procedures like that, what else can you do? Well, you can use a humidifier, okay, to keep your room moist, okay? You can use steam, hot steam. You can even get a bowl of water and steam it, or boiling water. Be careful and just lean over it and inhale and kind of loosen up that mucus. Get it loose so you can get it out. Inhale, let it loosen up so you can chunk it out, okay? So there are some things you can do at home. You can use eucalyptus, okay? Get you one of those home, those mistifiers, and just kind of, just let it, you plug them up, or you charge them up and you put the oils in there and it just kind of shoots it in the air. But it puts out that smell, nice eucalyptus smell, or peppermint, or whatever you use. And it's nice, it's nice. And some of those things can open you up, all right? We talked about that before. Some of those things can open you up. So it can thin and loosen that mucus, okay? The Flonase is designed to kind of constrict those vessels, constrict the vessels, and cut down on the production of mucus, all right? That's what that is. But again, some things you can do at home. You can get in a hot shower, right? You can get in a hot shower. Uh, Besides getting in a hot shower, you can, again, boil the water. Be safe and just lean over the boiling water or lean over or put it in a bowl or however you do it. That way you can get a wet, damp cloth and put it over your head. Put a hot water bottle close. So there are a lot of ways that you can kind of help deal with that mucus, that excess mucus that sometimes you get every now and again. All right. So today is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is the middle of the week, whether it's the work week or the full 7-day week. Wednesday is hump day. I hope that you guys have been having a wonderful week. I hope that you continue to have a wonderful week. And if your week hasn't been going the way you would like, listen, grab a hold to it. Grab a hold to it and try your best to change it up, okay? Try your best to make it work. Try your best to make it work. Do whatever it is that you need to do to turn it around for the better. You guys look at the legs move. I encourage you to get up and move for at least an hour a day, minimum 30 minutes. Let's see what you're saying. Hi, Andrew. We kind of need to see. You kind of need to not. I don't see what you look like. But get up for an hour a day and get you some cardiovascular aerobic activity in. Also get you some anaerobic activity in. Remember to do some resistance weight training at least twice a week. At least twice a week. Give those muscles time to recuperate, preferably 4 times a week. All right. And whatever you work today, give it time to recuperate tomorrow. Whatever you work tomorrow, give it time to recuperate Friday. Okay? Well, I guess you are. Bye. In fact, you are gone. But remember, cardiovascular activity, aerobic activity, resistance weight training. There's nothing wrong with cardiovascular activity every day. Some people shoot for 5 days a week. Some people do it every day. Some people 3 times a week. Start where you are. Start where you are. It depends on where you are. It depends on where you are. So get started. Motivate yourself to get started, okay? Don't depend on anybody else to motivate you. Don't rely on anybody else's goals, okay? Your goals are your goals, right? Thank you, Georgia girl. Georgia girl, you see I just had to get Andrew up out of here. I was going to let him stay because, I don't mind a nice troll. But if you're going to get smart, see, I don't feel like cussing on the app. I don't feel like cursing on the app. So, whatever you do, and the reason I talked about mucus today is because, like I said, we're seeing people say it's summertime. Why I feel like, clearing their throats, kind of, coughing a little bit, coughing up to clear their chest. They're saying, why am I coughing like, why am, but all it is, some people have allergies and don't even know it yet. They just think they're just a little congested. Think about it. What's going on? Look at your local weather and look at your local allergy count. And see when it's high, how is your body reacting? And when it's low, how does your body react? Don't they? They do, Georgia girl. And I try to let them stay if they being good. But if they're not being good, I'd be like, hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Sometimes we gotta walk and sing. We gotta walk and sing. We gotta walk and talk. We gotta walk and sing. But seriously, you guys, walk and talk. It is a great sign of your fitness level, along with so many other signs. Okay. But also, if you walk and you get too winded while you're talking, you're going to get a little bit winded. That's just your body adapting to you moving the movement, right? And you're trying to talk. So you'll be a little bit winded. But if you're, I gotta, oh, this, you need to listen to what your body is telling you, okay? Listen to what your body is telling you. And you will work up to a point where you don't sound that way anymore. The more you do it, the more your body wants to do it, the more your body becomes familiar with your workout routine, and the better you be, the better you'll be. I deal with allergies. I do want to get excess cold summer. Cold is rough. Woo! Listen, those summer colds, oh my gosh. Those summer colds are something else. Hold on, let me get I got the YP here in these dogs. I have to get my bag ready. I got to get my stuff, my protection ready. Those, the summer colds. Oh my gosh, Georgia girl, I have been like at a park before. I have my favorite parks that I do. Sometimes when I work out in the mornings, I will work out at the park. And look, if I forget my water bottle, I'll run into the store that's right next to the park, and that store will be freezing. And I'm hot. I just worked up a sweat. So that instant change in temperature, it affects you. And a lot of people will catch a cold that way. See, a lot of times people want to say, you don't get a cold because it's cold. Yes, you can. When your body has to switch like that, that's just like going into shock. It's not as serious, but it's the concept. When people get in these cold water baths and some of them can't handle it, it shocks their body. It's shock, and they can go into shock. So most people who do it, if you're generally healthy, you jump in that ice like that, it shocks you, but you're okay. You get out of it, you're okay. Some people, especially with certain health issues, shouldn't do that because it shocks your body. So just imagine, it's hot outside, you're sweaty, and then like within seconds, you go into a building that's like 65 degrees. That's kind of like a little shock, and then the next thing you know, because I've experienced it before, I'm leaving out of the store sneezing like crazy. So, especially with the sneezing. And sometimes it'll kind of wear off and, you're okay. But sometimes you'll notice the next day, dang, I've been sneezing since yesterday, since I went in that store. Well, you just got a little head cold. And it doesn't mean you came in contact with anybody in that store that had a virus. Because I know a lot of times people like to say, the cold doesn't give you a cold. It's the virus. That is true. But there are times when you can go into a cold place that's freezing cold and it shocks your body and you end up with a little head cold or something. She says, girl says, yep, your body changing. Yeah, it changes in different climates. You were sneezing on your trip, see? And it was hot. Yeah. Yep. That also, Georgia girl, yeah, and even if you're like in a hot place, usually like if your home is, like it's summertime, so in the States it's summer. But I'm saying like if you live in one town and it's hot and you go to another town and it's hot, still your body has to adjust to that climate overall. Not just the heat, it's the heat, the humidity, which is, has something to do with heat, but it's not just heat. Of course, the heat, the increase or decrease in humidity, and lots of things, just it being breezy. If it's really breezy, if you live in a town and there's not a lot of water, okay, so it's not really breezy. You go to another town and it's a lot of water. So yes, it's hot, but like especially later in the evening, it's really, really, it feels good now. It's really, really nice and cool. For some people, that can be just enough to get them to sneezing. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. Hey, top to bottom. Hey, top to bottom. Thank you, Georgia girl. Georgia girl, top to bottom. Georgia girl, you got top to bottom. Come from over there. You met top to bottom over there, Georgia girl. Thank you for coming into the live. But yes, y'all, what do you do? There are often some home remedies we can do, before we spend a lot of money. So if you're having increased mucus, because like I said, sometimes the doctors will tell you as you get older, mucus can be a thing. Like you have more discharge. Like throughout the day, Not throughout the day, all day. I'm just saying like certain days, maybe a day or two out of the week, a day or two out of the month, you may feel a little congested and feel like you have to, kind of cough it out and spit it out. Not to be too graphic, but, and it's like you're thinking, I don't have a cold. My sinuses aren't bothering me. A lot of times it has to do with the foods that you're eating, okay? That processed food, all those artificial colors, flavors, seasonings, the sugar, those empty bad carbs, alcohol, caffeine. Usually anything with caffeine has sugar, So a lot of times it's not even the fact that you may be coming down with a cold. It may not be your environment. It may just solely be in the food that you're eating. I haven't had mucus since leaving the city. See? And that's what Georgia girl was just talking about, top to bottom. She said that she was sneezing on her trip. And it's hot. So sometimes it's just a change in environment. You need a change. That's why a lot of times when people have really bad allergies and stuff like that, sometimes people will say, you ever thought about moving to Nevada, Arizona, those places like that? So yes, a lot of times it's just, depends on where you live, or it depends on where you travel to, how your body will react. Milk, oh my gosh, yes, milk. Oh my gosh, because you know what they say, we're not supposed to be drinking cow's milk, right? Cow's milk is for cows, okay? Cow's milk is for cows. And so that's why you see so many people nowadays, they have gotten on the almond milk kick, the oat milk kick. Now, some people will drink the goat's milk. Now, I feel like if cow's milk is for cows, then goat's milk is for goats. but I think that, I forgot what it is. I know as far as like in skincare products, goat milk is good for your skin and stuff like that. So maybe it has some other health benefits that cow milk, dairy doesn't offer. But it's the milk, the cheese. They have cheese alternatives as well as milk alternatives. So, you just have to be really careful. And if you start having like increasing phlegm and increasing mucus, check your diet out. See what you can do to kind of help with your diet. Kind of help that with changing your diet. Remember over here in Lions Pride, I talk about M&Ms, right? M&Ms. And I'm not talking about the chocolate-covered candies. The candy-coated chocolate, rather. The candy-coated chocolate. We're talking about moderation and modification. Sometimes you have to modify things about your diet. Not just about, you can have to modify your exercises. If you feel like you're doing something that's bothering your knee, find an alternative. Modify that exercise. Like I always say, instead of doing a deep squat, hold the chair and do a mini squat. Do a wall squat. Use the wall for assistance. Okay? Instead of running, try jogging mixed with running. If you're already a jogger, try jogging mixed with walking. If your knees and your hips are bothering you, do something. Or just try something all different altogether. Instead of walking, use your bicycle. I always tell you guys, there are so many things we can do besides walking. You can walk, you can jog if you can, run, skip, hop, walk in place. Shout out to Rock Just Living. I love to give her that shout out because she reminded us that how simple it is to just walk in place, right? You can march in place. That's what we do when we get to traffic around here. We want to stop, but we keep going. We stop, but we keep going. So y'all know I have my elliptical, and when it gets real hot, my walking talks I do on my elliptical. So that's my best friend. I think goat milk mimics human milk the most. Yeah, it does. And it mimics human milk the most. And it's like really good for your skin. It's good to have it on hand as goat. You can have soap with it, and it really helps your skin. So I know a lot of people that use, they get the soap or body cleansers with goat milk, and they're really good. And it has a nice natural smell to it. It doesn't smell like flowers and roses, but it's just that kind of organic smell. If you say kind of authentic, it's really pleasant. So, if you're kind of sensitive to scents and stuff like that, it's really pleasant. So y'all know Ellie is my best friend. Ellie is my elliptical. She don't lie to me. All right. She don't tell me what I don't want to hear. She shows me the truth. Okay. And so my equipment is my best friend. So I get on Ellie when it's too hot or when it's too cold or when it's inclement weather outside. Top to bottom says, I like my elliptical. Yes, ellipticals are good. They have that glide effect. That's why I use Ellie. I call my elliptical Ellie. That's her name. She's been with me for years. She's my best friend. um, you can use, well, we just named what it was. Walking, jogging, skipping, running, the elliptical, your stationary bike. You can grab your bike and ride up and down the street. If you don't want to ride around the block, you can ride around the block, ride around the neighborhood, ride up and down the street, ride your bike at the park. If you can go skiing, now that's going to cost a little money, but that's probably about 2 things that I named that cost money. I tell you guys about 15 to 20 things that you can do that are free. You can go swimming, right? You can get some anaerobic stop and go in. You can play a game of basketball with your kids, your nieces and nephews, your spouse, your family, your neighbors kids. Y'all get together and have a day of basketball, touch football, soccer, anything. Okay, you can go mountain climbing. You can play tennis. Grab somebody. Okay, grab somebody. There are so many things you can do to increase your fitness level, to improve your fitness level. Okay, to improve your stamina, to increase your endurance. You make soup with it? That sounds good. That sounds good. I love some soup. I love just beef. I don't eat a lot of beef, but I will have some beef soup. But it kind of tastes funny to me because I don't eat beef a lot. I eat steak maybe about 3 times a year. And from time to time, I will eat like ground steak, ground sirloin. And if I'm in a crunch, if I'm at a seminar or something like that, and we're pushed for time, we're getting lunch, yeah, I'll get me a McDonald's, okay? I'll consider that my treat. But just like on a day-to-day basis, when we're just, doing what we do every day, I tend to stay away from pork and beef, but not due to religion or anything, just trying to stay away from it to stay more on the lighter side, hopefully the healthier side. But in everything that we eat, we have to pray over it because so much is done to it before we get to us and we don't know about it. Even when they say organic and things like that. Thank you, George Girl. She says, welcome in and thumbs up the live. It has been 38 minutes, y'all. So I got family all around me, but they be fussing when I be out here at nighttime, okay? Like I can say, hey, right now, one of them will come out the house, but they be fussing. So I be trying to keep it to like 30 minutes to an hour, anywhere in between. Because I walk at night. I don't care about walking at night because it feels so good. The only thing I don't like about walking at night, y'all, is that a cat will jump out. I don't do cats. Yes, my name is Lions, okay? It's Lions Fry. Thank you, George Girl. Thank you for coming a member. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Welcome on to Walkers. We walk over here. See, there go some of my neighbors right there. So they're the family, friends, neighbors. You always have that 1 or 2 nosy neighbors, but that's okay. You have to welcome them in. You got to welcome them in with kindness. How are y'all? You got to welcome them in too. Because, sometimes it's good to have, y'all, it's good to have a nosy neighbor. I didn't want to say it too loud because I didn't want them to think I was talking about them because I really wasn't. But I was just saying, I had just said I can say, hey, somebody come outside. And there go 2 of my neighbors right there. But, sometimes, y'all, when I was younger, nosy neighbors used to get on my nerves, okay? Have y'all ever been like that? Where nosy neighbors just irk your nerves. And they still do now when they do too much, right? But it's good to have a nosy neighbor. And thank you, George Girl, so much. I'm on this YouTube live stream, so I can't play nothing. I can't do a drop. And I think I had one time a long time ago and I erased it. So I got to get me one. But let me tell you something. Ain't nobody going to be like yours because you did your own. So the only way to be, way to be as original as possible is to do your own. And Georgia girl be getting down on that money drop, y'all. She be getting down on her money drop. Yep. They might be talked about and they might be. Okay, I go to the nosy neighbor for the okay. Yeah. And let me tell you, I used to, when you're younger, you just, we don't know what we know now. We didn't know it then. Unless you were just like an old soul, an old head and at heart, mind. We kind of think kind of young. Like as we get older, each generation that comes under us, that's like maybe about 5, at least, especially 10 years under us, we call them young bucks. So I try not to be so hard on the younger people when I see them doing some wild and crazy things, because we've all done them. But and we've all not just done wild and crazy things, but thought certain ways. And when I was younger, I was like, why is she so nosy? And I'm still like that today. But the difference is sometimes people are nosy because, let me tell you, I think I would prefer a nosy neighbor to neighbors who don't care. Okay? Some neighbors don't care. It's like they see and don't see. Kind of like I do sometimes, I see and don't see, especially on this app. A lot of times I see and don't see because that's the best way to keep your peace. Sometimes seeing and not seeing is the best way to keep your peace, keep your calmness about you, right? So, but when it comes to a neighbor, I don't mind having 1 or 2 nosy neighbors in the neighborhood, because the only thing I don't like is if I have a nosy neighbor who's nosy but won't speak. Like, I say won't speak, like, God forbid you need them to talk to somebody and say, hey, this happened, I saw this. They don't do that. But when they want to be nosier, they got all the questions in the world for you and the other neighbors and all this stuff. It's like they just want to keep a tally on everything that's going on. But if someone says, hey, did you see anybody doing so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so? Then they act like they don't know anything. Let me tell y'all something. I had one neighbor that was nosy. And something had went on in the neighborhood that, surprised people. Because people always say they don't expect for certain things to happen. And God forbid that they do. But when the officials went to talk to her, she didn't really give them no information. After they left, she was talking to everybody about what had happened. I was like, what? Now that's and I understand when it comes to safety, some people are reluctant to talk. Don't get me wrong, I understand that certain situations, you got to think about you and your family's safety first. But if you don't talk to the officials and you go and talk and tell all the other neighbors, then you should have talked to the officials. Because now you got a neighbor who you might be telling what happened, who's now got to feel like, okay. And then they'll even say, I didn't tell them that though. Now you got this other neighbor thinking, you should have told them. Now they're in a dilemma like, should I now tell them? When they came out, I told them I didn't know. So now if I go talk, I got to say, she told me, or else I'll be looking like, why did you lie the first time? So if you're going to be a nosy neighbor, right? And you're going to be in the business, in the pool, and in everybody, all up in the community topics. Be willing to say something, okay? Be willing to say something. Shoot, you got the information. Be willing to say something. And especially if you're talking to other neighbors, then you may as well talk to the officials about it, whatever happened. God forbid that anything happens. But, in the past, people have done that. So it's good to have 1 or 2 nosy neighbors, as long as they don't overstep. Sometimes people get into the habit of overstepping their bounds. So, overstepping boundaries. Yeah, talk about, yeah, do it the right way. Do it the right way. Because, you didn't tell the officials when they were asking the questions, trying to figure out what was going on. But then when they leave, you got a lot of conversation for the neighbors. I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well. And some people just don't believe in telling officials, but these are people who do. Okay, so if you got all this conversation about something for the neighbors, then you should have it for the officer or whoever comes out to talk. So, and also, again, don't overstep your boundaries. Some neighbors are so nosy, they can tell you. Now, of course, it's natural to be able to tell when people go to work, when they usually come home. You know, that's good stuff to know. If they're on vacation, they ask you to kind of look out. That's good. But you got some people, if you haven't cut your grass, now I believe in keeping the grass cut, but you never know. What if that person usually cuts their grass and they haven't cut it like they usually do? How do you know they're not feeling good? They may not be feeling good. You know, maybe they're out of town. Did you check to see if they're out of town? And some of them may know you're out of town, and they just want to complain to the HOA that you haven't cut your grass. Like, come on. Some of them just they do a little bit too much. So again, there's nothing wrong with the nosy neighbor. Even when they do too much, you have to hope that somewhere deep inside that they know when to speak. You know, they know when to speak and not just to be nosy. They know when to speak and not just be nosy. Thank you guys for joining the live. Again, if you come across the replay or if you are in the live, like Georgia Girl, top to bottom, Betty, I like to try to shout out everybody that came through. I had to block a troll. I thought he was going to be a good troll, but he started acting crazy. Live Ben came through. If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. And once you subscribe, please ring my doorbell. It's better known as my YouTube notification bell. Okay? My YouTube notification bell. So you'll be notified each and every time I upload a short, because I'm primarily a shorts channel. And I go live almost every evening to do our walk and talks and line pride. To do our walks and talks and lines pride. Okay? I upload a few videos here and there, but mostly shorts channel, and we go live. Okay? To get this walk in, y'all know I always say it's like eating for me, right? My warm up is my appetizer. My exercise, my main exercise is my entree, and my cool down is my dessert. I do all of that for breakfast, but I come on here in the evenings and we have another dessert. All right? And that's the walking. That's the walking and the cooling down. Okay? Thank you again for being here. Of course, we're going to close it out with our closing words. Remember the R words. The R is a very important letter. All letters are important, but you get a lot of positive words from R. So remember to relax your heart, mind, body, and soul. Release the things, the places, and the people that don't mean you any good, that cause you stress, okay, that you can release, okay? Relate to the things that you can relate to, all right? Resolve those issues that you can. Take that weight off of you, okay? Anything that you can't relate to, you can't release, and you can't resolve, give it to God. He's got control anyway, okay? Remember who you are. Remember some of the things that you used to do that you just don't do anymore. Not for any particular reason. It could be something good. You could maybe do crossword puzzles. Hadn't done them in a while. Do that to keep yourself calm. Keep yourself from being bored. Keep yourself busy to relax your mind. We want to work on our minds too, okay? When we exercise, we also want to exercise the brain. Okay? Exercise your brain as well. Okay? I got to get moving more. Yes. Just move. Have an awesome evening. Thank you, top to bottom, you as well. You have an awesome evening as well and a wonderful rest of your week. Okay? And remember that 4-letter word, self, is a great prefix to a lot of good words. Self-love, self-dedication, self-commitment, self-motivation. Motivate yourself. All right? All right? Self-respect. Practice self-control. Be self-reliant. Sometimes we've got to, like we might have motivate ourselves, we have to rely on ourselves sometimes. Sometimes when you think you can't do it, just try anyway. Okay? Even if you end up not being able to do whatever it is, you'll be able to say you tried. So self-reliant. All right? Rely on taking care of yourself as long as you can. Pray to God that you'll be able to do so as long as you can. Okay? Self-accountability. Whether it's from the past, the present, or the future, because we're all human. We're not perfect. We're going to do some things that we're going to have some self-accountability for. Now, some people don't know how to practice self-accountability. Some people don't want to have self-accountability, right? Remember, the things that hurt you in the past, or the people that hurt you in the past, sometimes it could be old friends, it can be current friends, it can be family. When they say forget, forgive, and forget, yes, of course it's hard to forget. A lot of times it's hard to forgive. But do forgive as much as you can and forget as much as you can. Really, you don't want to forget. Not that you want to harp on it, but you want to make sure that you never allow it to happen again. Never allow yourself to be in those places again. And sometimes people just do stuff to you that's out of your control. So if you forgive them, never allow them the leeway to do you the way that they did to hurt you. Okay? Never allow them the leeway to do the things that they did to hurt you in the past, to do it to you again. And you can even still love them, because a lot of times, y'all, it's family or it's close friends. Okay? Self-accountability is a unicorn. Okay? Yes, definitely. So sometimes we have to keep distance from those that we love because we know what they're capable of. And sometimes we have to account for the things that we have done as well, because none of us are perfect. Maybe some haven't done as much as others have done when it comes to negative things or things that hurt people, but none of us are perfect. So self-accountability is crucial. It is key. All right? So self, that four-letter word, is very important. Selfish. It's okay to be selfish. Like I always say, we often want to take care of our family and friends first, right? But it's okay to be selfish sometimes and put yourself first so that you can continue to take care of yourself and your family and friends, right? You want to be able to continue to do that. Take breaks. Take breaks from social media. Take breaks from work. I know some people have never missed a day of work in 20 years. And that's a great thing. But if you find that you need to take a day off of work, take your day off. Rejuvenate. Remember the R words? Replenish your cup. Replenish your heart, mind, body, and soul. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. Okay? Replenish your heart, mind, body, and soul. Emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Not just physically, all of it. Okay? We think physical because we say exercise so much. But you exercise and you get those endorphins going, you release those positive feel-good drugs, natural feel-good drugs, those mood stabilizers, and hopefully you will learn to feel so much better. And I say learn to feel better. Some people thinking, how do you learn to feel better? You either feel better or you don't. Well, sometimes you have to eliminate some things and you have to start doing some things. And when you realize those things make you feel better, you have learned that there are certain things that you need to do to sometimes trigger that feeling. Okay? So thank you guys for being here. Again, I appreciate you, top to bottom, Georgia girl, Betty from Retirement Days, Liven. And if I missed you, it was not intentional. Please, please, please know that it was not intentional. And thank you for those who came through and didn't say anything. And thank you for those thumbs up. I appreciate y'all, okay? So y'all know what time it is. I wish you peace, positivity, and prosperity. Without peace, there's chaos. Without positivity, there's negativity. Wherever chaos and negativity roam, hold hands, live together. If you allow that to affect you and you to live in that, you fail to prosper to your fullest potential. We all want to prosper to our fullest potential. I'm not saying you won't prosper with that around you, because this is life and things happen, things go on. Keep pushing, keep moving. Sometimes you got to keep pulling, okay? Keep pulling. Keep uplifting yourself, all right? So I will see y'all, okie dokie, top to bottom. I will see you guys, hopefully, if it's the Lord's will, on tomorrow. If not, the next day. All right, y'all. Bye, y'all.